Hello, I am Colonel Dr. Joshi from HCHC. As we all know, the world is facing the pandemic of COVID-19 since last 1.5 years. Once the first case of corona was detected in Wuhan province of People's Republic of China. Thereafter, almost all countries of the world, they got the cases ranging say from very minimal to the highest number, especially reported in Italy, thereafter in America, and even India also facing the cases for last 1.5 year. And in fact, presently we are going through the second wave of corona virus infection. This particular infection is a viral infection which spreads through the respiratory droplets or aerosols when they are being thrown into the air by the patient or a person who is having virus in his body, but he is asymptomatic, and then if we inhale this infected air, when we come in close contact with the individual or a COVID positive patient, we are likely to get the infection. Likewise, once the virus is thrown into the air in the form of droplets, and if these droplets they are settled on the say surfaces which are coming in contact with the individual, say for the staircases, doorknobs or table, furniture or anything, then if we touch all these surfaces and thereafter if we try to touch our nose, mouth or eyes without washing our hands or without sanitizing our hands, then also we are likely to get this infection. It is therefore important that the recommendations of World Health Organization which are being followed, these 3 C's especially, is to prevent the spread of infection. These 3 C's are avoiding crowded places, avoiding confined places, coming in contact with COVID positive patients.
COVID-19 continues to spread around the globe. You can help stop COVID-19 by participating in contact tracing. How does contact tracing work? Contact tracing is a system that has been used for decades to stop infectious diseases. A contact is anyone who has had direct physical contact or was within 1 meter for at least 15 minutes with an infected person, even if that person does not have symptoms. This applies to anyone who has had contact from 2 days before a person gets sick until 14 days afterwards, or from the 14 days when an asymptomatic case tested positive. Once you are confirmed as a contact, you will be asked to go into quarantine, which means to separate yourself from others and to monitor your health for any signs of illness. The monitoring ends on the 14th day from your last contact with the person infected with COVID-19. Quarantine can take place in a special facility outside of your home or at home if you can stay separated from family members. Why 14 days of quarantine? It can take from 1 to 14 days from contact with the virus to develop symptoms. During this time, you should stay in quarantine and monitor symptoms and follow instructions given to you if you become symptomatic. Without contact tracing and quarantine, the virus will continue to spread. This leads to more people becoming sick and infecting the most vulnerable. By identifying and limiting contacts of people infected with COVID-19, the virus stops spreading and the community stays safe. To break the chains of transmission, we all need to work together. If you become sick with COVID-19, stay away from others. Follow the recommendations of your medical care provider and share the list of people who you came in close contact with. With your help, we can prevent further spread of the virus and save more people's lives. By acting together, we can break the chains of COVID-19 transmission.
So, these 3 C's what we have seen, that avoiding the crowded places, being in close contact with a known case of COVID or being in a confined place with a poor air circulation, will definitely help in preventing the spread of the disease. Why we need to prevent the spread of this COVID-19 infection? Because there is no definitive treatment at present available, and the vaccine has recently been developed by various countries and vaccination drive is underway. In India also we are having this vaccination drive. However, the availability of the vaccine, the number of vaccines are much less as compared to the population of India. So, wherever the vaccination is available, one should go and get the vaccination done, as it is going to help us as well. Now, let us see what is the contact tracing means.
The global COVID-19 pandemic has adversely affected people's health, their livelihoods, and their communities. WHO encourages local authorities and healthcare workers to conduct safe and effective contact tracing with communities around the world. We're working toward creating happy, healthier, and safer communities together. With the right people and principles in place, contact tracing is a highly effective strategy to stop or slow the spread of COVID-19. Effective contact tracing leads to the early identification of infected people, who can then be encouraged to quarantine and isolate. Complete trust and active engagement with local communities is needed for contact tracing to be successful. We developed 11 key principles that help build trust and enable success. Understanding community context and dynamics is key. Be honest and clear in your communication, and develop trust early within the community. Working with community leaders and representatives can greatly improve your efforts, especially when working with vulnerable populations. Be inclusive when building your local community workforce, and provide adequate training to ensure success. Listen to, analyze, and respond to feedback. It helps reduce fear and concern about contact tracing when the community's needs are both acknowledged and then responded to. Listening to communities and establishing feedback mechanisms can prevent issues from escalating and help manage expectations. Also, stay mindful of technology's role within a community. It may limit access to those most vulnerable and in need. Always explain how information will be used, stored, and accessed. Confidentiality is key to retaining trust. Avoid criminalization and punitive actions, and protect affected families from stigma, discrimination, and rumors. Because COVID-19 impacts more than just a community's health, partner with other actors that address relevant issues, including education, food, water, and sanitation. Actualize the key principles by using our standard operating procedures. Take a community-centered approach and adapt to their needs. Following these effective community engagement principles and standard operating procedures will help bring success to your contact tracing efforts. Learn more about how we are creating happy, healthier, and safer communities together.
To prevent the spread of the disease, we need to trace the contact, means a person who is having this viral infection or who is a positive case of who is a positive for the coronavirus test. Thereby we can definitely know that this is a person who is going to spread the disease. So, for this reason contact tracing is a very important thing, whereby we will be able to prevent the spread of the disease by taking the preventive measures we will see in due course of time. So, the contact may be those who have come in contact with the last 2 weeks of a known case of a COVID case, or a person who is asymptomatic, but otherwise COVID positive, having a COVID positive test. Those who are staying in the same household as a case, they are also prone to get exposed, since they are living with each other and getting exposed for more than 15 minutes of time. Those people who are working in the healthcare institutes and providing the health care to the patients, they are also likely to get the infections if they are not wearing the personal protective equipment. As well, those people who are in a closed environment like workplace, classrooms or any organized gatherings wherein they are in very close contact with each other within the less than or say within the 6 feet of distance, they are also likely to get the infection. Again, the contaminated surfaces, if they are unknowingly being touched, and thereafter if we touch our say nose, eyes or mouth, then they are without washing our hands, then we are likely to get infection. Generally, the COVID positive patients, if they cough out, the virus is thrown into the air in the form of droplets. So, what are the important considerations for contacts? So, the important consideration are a asymptomatic case coming in contact from 2 days before to 14 days after the onset of the symptoms. Then the duration of the exposure is also very important. If suppose the duration of exposure is less than 15 minutes, but the distance is very minimal or say within say 3 feet, 6 feet, then likelihood of getting the infection is more. If suppose the duration is more than 15 minutes, but the distance is less and the room is not well ventilated, again we are likely to get the infection. Again, the next one, the healthcare workers who are not using the personal protective equipment and then taking care of the individuals, they are also likely to get infected. Healthcare workers undertaking any procedures involving formation of aerosol and not wearing the personal protective equipment, they are also at the risk of getting the infection. Again, those people who have to undertake the travel for say emergency purpose either by air, rail or road, and they are unable to keep the safe distance with each other, they are also likely to get infected. That is why we need to trace the contact. So as we know that the COVID infection spreads by droplets, if we can trace the contact exposed to the COVID-19 cases, then we can identify all such individuals, thereby their place of exposure, the time of exposure, thereby intimating the others who might have come in contact with them and exposed, that they can take care. Once the contact is traced, we can either isolate or quarantine them, taking preventive measures to avoid further spread of the infection. Now, who all are the high risk contacts? See, we have already seen that people who are coming in contact with each other, having a known case of say COVID or a positive COVID person, then we need to know how much is the proximity. Means those people who are very close proximity with each other and not taking any precautions, and the distance between them is less than say 6 meter, they are likely to get infected. In hospital setups or I say in house individuals, handling linen, clothes or utensils of the patient are also likely to get infection. Then healthcare workers or say doctors, nurses, paramedical staff in the hospitals, if they are not taking proper precautions of infection prevention and control and not wearing the personal protective equipment, they are also in the high risk group. While traveling, if there is no social distancing or there is no gap between two seats, they are also likely to come under this category. Those individuals handling body fluids of the patients and the lab technicians handling the samples of the patients, they are also likely to get infected as a high risk group. In the marketplaces or crowded places, the vendors or even the customers, if they are coming in close contact with each other, they are likely to get infected. Since number of people who are coming in contact with each other, they are more, and we exactly do not know who is positive, who is negative. That is why it is very much likely that they will be at high risk group. So, who are all be in low risk category? Whosoever has not come under the high risk category, they are all under low risk category. So, low risk category does not mean that they are not going to spread the disease. They are equally going to spread the disease. That is how we have to take proper precautions. So, those who are having cough, cold and fever symptoms or getting exposed to the known case of COVID within 6 feet of distance or in contact with for more than 15 minutes, they are all likely to get infection. Now, we will see what all tests are required to be carried out or what are the tests to be carried out. The tests are, one is RT-PCR test and the other one is rapid antigen test. These tests are for the current infection and the detection of the antibodies is for the past infection. So, those who all are under high risk categories, they are required to undergo the testing. Again, those people who are working in the healthcare facilities and getting exposed without using the personal protective equipment, they are also likely to get infected. That is how they are also required to undergo the test. So, now we will see who all are required to get tested. So, those who are having the symptoms such as fever, cough, cold or body ache, they are required to undertake the test. Then someone who is getting exposed to a known case of COVID within very close proximity of 6 feet of distance are in contact for more than 15 minutes, he is also at the high risk. That is why he is also required to get the COVID test done. All contacts which are coming under the high risk group are also required to undertake the testing. People requiring to undertake the travel either by rail, road or air, as per the local health authorities and as per the Government of India instructions, from time to time they are also required to take the test, and presently the test report is required to be fresh as almost 48 to 72 hours prior to undertaking the journey. People who have been vaccinated, are they required to undertake the test? Yes, they are also required to undertake the test if they are exposed to a COVID-19 case or say high risk contacts, or they also develop the symptoms such as fever, cough and cold. They need to take the test. Then between 15 and 14 days of quarantine period, one must take the one must undertake the test for the knowing whether he is positive or he is not having any infection. Again, on termination of quarantine period, as per the local health authority guidelines, one has to undertake the COVID-19 test. Then a person who is been hospitalized for COVID-19 treatment, before he is being discharged, he is required to undertake the COVID-19 test as per the instructions of the treating doctor. So, now see, we will see that how many types of tests are there. There are two types of tests currently to detect the current infection and knowing the past infection of COVID-19. The RT-PCR and rapid antigen tests are used to detect the current infection, whereas the antibody detection in a body, that is serological test, is performed just to know whether the individual has recovered and he had a past infection of COVID-19 infection. The rapid antigen test results are available within hours, but the false negative rate is very high. However, rapid antigen test is very useful at the places where large number of people are required to be screened for the infections within short period of time, such as the places of say railway station, airport, bus stands or social gatherings where these gatherings are being organized by authorized people. RT-PCR test, it takes 24 hours for reporting. However, the accuracy of the test is almost 90 to 95%. if the test is negative, what does that mean? That only indicates that a person is not infected at the time of taking the sample for the test, as one has to follow the precautions. It does not mean that he is free of infection and can move around freely without taking any precautions wherever he wants to go. So, after knowing this contact, then testing, we will see what is the quarantine and isolation mean. Quarantine or isolation aims at preventing the further spread of COVID-19 by isolating or quarantine the individual and getting other people exposed to these individuals, either by instituting the guidelines as per the health authorities or by asking them to get admitted at the various COVID care centers being established by the Government of India and even the state government. Once the individual comes in contact with a COVID-19 case or say high risk contact, he needs to be quarantined, thereby the evaluation of such individuals and treatment if or she requires once they turn symptomatic, that can be instituted at the earliest. The evaluation of the individual is based on whether he develops the symptoms during this quarantine period, that is whether he develops fever, whether he has cough or cold or backache and other symptoms which are similar to the COVID-19 infection. Such people, they are required to be monitoring the symptoms as fever, cough, cold and body ache. Then again they are required to measure their temperature at least twice in a day and as well as oxygen concentration with the help of oximeter. The oxygen concentration rather oxygen saturation has to be more than 94%. If it gets less than that, then they have to contact the nearest medical authorities. Then avoiding exposure to the people with the comorbidity or aged people and children is all equally important. The comorbidity, especially the diabetes, hypertension, tuberculosis and other chronic illnesses. Then one has to keep the room well ventilated and disinfected and avoiding the common toilet and bathroom facilities. He has to make use of the toilet bathroom facility available within the room. Therefore, the single room, if it is available, that is very essential. Then ensuring the social distancing is also equally important. Ensure the 2-meter distance between two beds if sharing the room and ventilation of the room. Those who are in institutional quarantine, they are required to be taking the precautions that they are keeping the distance between the two beds of 6 feet. Then in case individual has mild to moderate symptoms and he can be isolated at home with due consultation of the treating doctor, that is isolation. Such persons who have a comorbidity or ones who will be by home isolated being given permission by the health authorities and have proper monitoring facilities. All such people will again has to monitor themselves as well as the health authorities also can monitor with the help of the team of the health professionals available with them. Individual will isolate himself in a separate room with a requisite personal toilet and bathroom. He will also avoid coming in contact with other people of the houses or say aged people or say children and especially those who are having comorbidity. The room of the such patient has to be sanitized and well ventilated by keeping the windows open. Then he or she will hand wash with the soap and water or use the alcohol based sanitizer. He will also use the mask throughout the isolation and whenever he has to communicate with the other household of the individuals. Then wash the utensils, then linen and the bed which is being used monitor the temperature and oxygen saturation as we have already seen in the quarantine as well, keep the watch of further worsening of the symptoms and contact the medical authorities for change of or adjustment of the treatment and guidance.
Your remote monitoring COVID-19 diary. As you have symptoms of COVID-19, you or your carer has received a diary and a pulse oximeter. COVID-19 is a viral illness which for most people is mild, but for some it can quickly become serious. That's why we need you to monitor your breathing, your heart rate and the level of oxygen in your blood. By recording these measurements in the diary provided, you can help your GP or 111 decide on the best treatment for you. A pulse oximeter monitors how fast your heart beats and the level of oxygen in your blood to accurately assess your progress with COVID-19. An ideal blood oxygen level is between 95 and 99%. An ideal heart rate is between 50 and 90. How to use a pulse oximeter. 1. Remove any nail polish or false nails and warm your hand if cold. 2. Rest for at least 5 minutes before taking your measurement. 3. Rest your hand on your chest at heart level and hold it still. 4. Switch on the pulse oximeter and place it on your middle or index finger. 5. The reading takes time to steady. Keep the pulse oximeter in place for at least a minute or longer if the reading is not stable. 6. Record the highest result once it has not changed for 5 seconds. 7. Identify each reading carefully. Write the information in the diary. Start writing from the baseline and record 3 times a day at the same times. For instance, when you would normally eat meals. Take extra measurements if you feel a change in your health. Go to A&E immediately or ring 999 if you feel seriously ill, you are unable to complete short sentences while resting due to breathlessness, or your oxygen level is 92% or less. If it is, check again immediately. If it remains 92 or below, go to A&E immediately or call 999. Ring your GP or 111 as soon as possible if your oxygen level is 93 or 94% when sitting or lying down and remains at this level after being rechecked within an hour. You slowly start feeling more unwell or more breathless for 2 or more hours. Or you have difficulty breathing when getting up, for instance to go to the toilet. It also helps to keep track of your temperature. However, as long as your oxygen level and breathing are normal, you don't need to contact your GP or 111 if you have a temperature. Other symptoms are generally less worrying. Paracetamol and regular fluids can help, and most people will get better by themselves within 2 to 3 weeks. Remember, some people with COVID-19 may develop other problems or have other causes for their symptoms. If you are concerned, please visit the NHS website for advice. Even if you feel better, please keep the oximeter for at least 14 days, as some patients feel unwell again after the first week of symptoms. After this, please return the oximeter and your diary to your GP surgery in the bag provided. And of course, please carefully follow government advice via the NHS website. Thanks, and we wish you a speedy recovery.
If a person is symptomatic, then he has to keep self-monitoring for early symptoms and health parameters. Local health authorities, as we have already seen, that they can also monitor such cases with the help of health team which are being formed by the medical authorities. All direct and high risk contacts with a confirmed case should undergo the COVID testing once between 5 to 14 days of coming in contact. During isolation or quarantine, make sure that we are following the instructions or the precautions. First and foremost, correct continuous use of mask, especially making sure that the mask is covering the nose, mouth and the chin of an individual. Then hand washing with soap and water or using the alcohol based sanitizers for washing the hands or sanitizing the hands. Then environmental cleaning and disinfection of the room where the individual has been isolated or quarantined. Then avoiding going into the crowded places and unnecessarily coming out of the room is also avoided. Then adequate ventilation of the room has to be maintained by keeping the windows open, so that there is a cross ventilation and air is well ventilated. Monitoring of health parameters such as temperature and oxygen saturation is also will be carried out by the individual. Then one has to intimate the treating physician that the person has developed the fever, cough and cold for further guidance and treatment. In case required, then all such cases are also required to be admitted in the hospital for further management and treatment. All such cases where the cases are being isolated or quarantined, they need to keep the emergency contact numbers available with their families, especially the contact numbers of the families, then contact number of the friends, then contact number of the people who from where the individual was working or he is working in the offices, then contact details of nearby pharmacy shops or food courts in case there is a requirement of home delivery of the say food or medicine, that can also be made available with the help of these contact numbers. Then local health authority helpline which are being published, that also required to be kept note of it, so that in case of emergency the helpline also can be contacted for medical assistance. Installation of Arogya Setu is also equally important, so that the individual also will come to know that whether he is coming in contact with the people, whether they have also been exposed or otherwise. Along with this, we need to keep in mind few things, say like environmental requirements, say ventilation, cleaning, then taking care of self, taking proper diet, taking rest, doing the mild to moderate exercises as per the medical authorities, making use of say yoga asanas or say pranayam will help the individual to improve his immunity. So, what is important of say contact tracing is that if we come to know that individual has been exposed to a COVID-19 positive case or a person though who is asymptomatic otherwise found to be having COVID-19 positive, then we can further prevent the spread by keeping such individuals under quarantine and then monitoring their health and carrying out the test 5 to 14 days of quarantine and making sure that though he has been exposed, he has not been infected. Then isolation helps in preventing the further spread of the disease, as individual is either positive or he is a known case having mild to moderate signs and symptoms, whereby he can be isolated at home and been treated, or otherwise if required he can be hospitalized and been treated, and then this further spread of the disease can be prevented. The best way of preventing this particular pandemic of COVID-19 is to take proper precautions as been instituted by all the governments, first and foremost being use of proper mask, use of hand sanitization or washing hand with soap and water frequently, avoiding unnecessary touching of hands to the nose, mouth or eyes, and keeping social distancing of say at least 6 feet of distance between each other in case one has to go out and get involved in say either purchasing or say getting to the schools or say going to the workplace for the work. And second foremost thing which is important is the vaccination. Since the vaccine is available, we have to undertake the vaccination drive and we have to participate in the vaccination drive sincerely and voluntarily. That vaccine is going to prevent us, if not 100%, at least is going to prevent some, it will give us some prevention against this particular disease. So, once again I request all of you to follow these norms, use mask, use social distancing, wash hands and hands with soap and water and alcohol based sanitizers, and avoid going to the crowded places. Thank you.